Now that the center stand is on, we're going to put on the crash bars, do the drill through kit with the stronger bolt for the subframe and the SW skid plate. So for that we have to take off the side covers, the seat, and the tank. Side covers, 8mm. Seat, 10mm. Spacer in there you don't want to lose. We're going to remove the cowling bolts. The longer bolt goes in the bottom. I'm going to turn off the fuel valve. We're going to remove the fuel line. There is a second fuel line that needs to be removed from the valve. And third line up on top of the tank. Now the tank will lift off. With a Phillips screwdriver, we're going to loosen this band at the carburetor intake. We're going to remove the master cylinder guard. And with a 6mm Allen, loosen the band on the muffler. With an 8mm Allen, we're going to remove the upper subframe bolts. You can let that drop back. You can see it separates the carburetor boot there, and the muffler slides back a little bit because we need to drill these holes bigger. And to keep the metal shavings out of the carburetor and the airbox, I'm just going to try to get some duct tape in there. A little oil in there. Using the supplied 13/32 drill bit, keeping it as straight as possible. There, now we're through those threads that the old bolt went into, and we're going to drill through the frame tubing. Yeah, it's about halfway on this side. And go to the other side. Because I'm going to be installing the Tusk guards at the same time, and the bolt goes through here, I'm going to go ahead and remove this shield for the installation of the Tusk bar. This guard is held on by 4 8mm head bolts. And remove the 2 engine mount bolts with 12mm socket and wrench. The Tusk crash bar kit comes with these bolts and spacers. These are longer ones to go through the engine mount. These are longer bolts on the top of the subframe, which we're not going to use because we have the through bolt kit. We're going to replace those with this. Get the duct tape out of the way. Get the boot back on the carburetor. And then we're going to put the bar, the bolt and the spacer. Through. Just like that. And on the left side, we're going to put the large spacer. And the Tusk bar. Make sure you don't pinch this wire in here. I guess that might be an added on wire. And then the nut from the through bolt kit. Now down here, sure where we're going to put this clutch cable, maybe like over that, like that. Yeah, that's where we want it. Bolt, washer, then it's going to go through the bar with a spacer on the inside of the bar. Bar, spacer, and then the motorcycle tube. And on the opposite side, we want the spacer. Spacer on the bottom. We can line the bar up. And we can put a washer and a lock nut. $13mm socket and wrench. I'm not going to tighten it up. Still want it to be a little loose. And these are going to be a 3/16 Allen. Get all 4 of those started. It'll help to have one of these wobbly Allen wrenches. Now that all the bolts are started, you can go ahead and tighten all those up. Now that our Tusk crash bar lower bolts are all tightened, we're going to go ahead and tighten the top. That's using this 8mm Allen socket and a 17mm wrench on the nut. It says do not go over 50 pounds, so I'm going to go to 40. There. We can go ahead and replace the left and right lower subframe bolts with the heavy duty bolts from the subframe bolt kit. We're going to install these new lower bolts with some red Loctite with a torque of 18 foot-pounds. Now we can go ahead and tighten up our muffler clamp. Put the guard back over the rear master cylinder. And tighten up the boot on the carburetor. If all you're doing is installing the crash bars or maybe just the subframe bolt kit, heavy duty subframe bolt kit, you can go ahead and put your gas tank, seat, and side covers back on. But I'm going to install the loaded lower dash. So I'm going to leave this off so I can run the wires back to the battery.